Buzz. I am your host, Melissa Plaskoff. In this holiday season, I know my family has been running around getting gifts for all of our loved ones. And today we're going to be talking about something really important, giving yourself a gift, the gift of reinvention. And I am so excited to introduce you to my friend, Elizabeth Rentz. She has taken the leap and reinvented herself at the age of 68. Welcome, Elizabeth. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
And I love that you always talk about, it's okay to reinvent yourself. You took this big leap and said, you know what? I've been in the corporate world. I'm not happy. And I have the courage to step outside of that and give myself this gift. And if you look back, you would say, oh my gosh, what?
I did it. And it's sitting here now and realizing how far I've come in a year absolutely blows my mind. And if I can do it, anybody can do it.
Okay, but a lot of people say that, right? I mean, we all are like, well, if I can do it, it's so easy.
No.
It's not easy.
No.
And how long were you in that, I don't want to say whether it was a rut or fear, how long were you in that struggle before you said, enough, I've got to make a change?
A long time.
Years?
Yes. It was 3 or 4 years before I finally made the decision. See, I was running a business that I had started. I had a recruiting firm here in Dallas, and I was making lots of money. My husband and I could travel wherever we wanted to travel, do whatever we wanted to do. And then when '08 came and the real estate market failed and the banks failed, that really affected me because banks didn't look at me in the same light. And my problem was that I kept doing the same thing over and over, what had gotten me success. And Einstein says that repeating things is insanity. Well, it was. But I was afraid of making the change.
So was there something that happened that made you say, okay, that's it, today's the day? And what led to that moment?
Besides the pain that I was feeling,
Right.
there was a lot of pain. I couldn't get out of bed. What really led to that, I woke up, I was 68 years old, and I was really unhappy, and I was in a lot of pain. And I said, I don't deserve this. Nobody deserves that.
But don't you think that you had, okay, let's say if this was a year and a half ago, and we were sitting there and I was like, get over it. You can figure it out. Why are you doing this? If you feel miserable, do something about it. That would not have worked. You had to decide on your own that it was time.
Yes. I had to make the decision that I had a certain amount of time left on this earth. I wasn't, and I'm not, a spring chicken. So being 20 and deciding you're going to wait for another 10 or 15 years was really not an option for me. If I wanted to be happy, I had to make the decision and go for it. I hid that decision for a while. I really did. I kind of
Okay,
decided.
from who? From coworkers, husband?
Husband.
Husband. Okay, so let's talk about that because I think that's a really important piece. So you have your husband, and he's obviously extremely supportive, but you were holding out on telling him and sharing this information. What happened when you finally said, hey, I'm going to make a big change? What was the reaction?
How do you intend to make money? I mean, really.
Which is honest, because a lot of people would say, oh, he was so supportive. And the truth is, and I have my own reinvention story. It's true. Okay, that's great. I'm so glad that you're going to do that. But how do you plan on getting some money in here by following your dreams?
That's exactly right. Not only that, but have you thought it out? He was the logical one.
Mm-hmm.
I was feeling it from my heart. It wasn't a head trip. It was a heart trip.
But your heart was strong enough for you to say, okay, but I know I've got the drive. Something has to change. And when you made that decision, did you start to feel better? And did your energy change?
You asked, who did I hide it from?
Okay.
It was from my husband,
Uh-huh.
Absolutely. And I didn't admit that until several months later. But it was really from myself.
Oh.
There was a lot of, do I want to do this? Is this logical for me to do? What is he going to say? What are my friends going to say? Are they going to say, you're crazy, you're 68 years old, why don't you retire? But once I admitted it to myself and I started doing things to move in that direction, I was amazed at the support that I had. My husband, after the initial, are we going to make some money doing this, was, yeah, go do it. Tell me what I can do. He fell in line once I started setting up the business, putting word out, writing a book. He was so supportive about writing the book. And then all of the other stuff that have come because I took that first step.
Okay, so you've decided to take the step. You were scared to death.
Yes.
Fear was paralyzing you, right?
Yes.
And you have an amazing newsletter that comes out once a month, right?
Yes.
And the last one was about fear. And so once you got past that, when you were starting to write your book, how long did that take to start to finish, to complete your book?
I wrote my book in 4 months.
That's quick.
But I did that because I followed a plan to write the book. And I had, up until that time, I had been really compiling it. I had been writing things. I had a lot in my head. I just didn't realize that I had enough for a book. But then when I sat down to write it, I was absolutely amazed at how quickly it came. It was there. It was there in my mind already, and I just went through from chapter to chapter, and it was done.
It was done. So you have your book.
Yes.
On Amazon.
Yes, it is on Amazon, so I'm really excited about that.
Hugely successful there.
Yes.
And you also have other opportunities for people to work with you, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So, okay, so in your business, because we're talking about reinvention, what does that mean? So if I'm in a rut, let's just say, right? I'm confused, I have my kids, they're in school, and I'm thinking, gosh, I don't know if I should try to do something. Do I call you?
Yes.
And okay, so at that point, that's when I call you and say, help me. And
yes, and I want to say something about calling me or calling someone else. But get yourself a coach. Get yourself a mentor. You cannot realize how important that is. I have had mentors the whole way.
Okay, will you explain what that means? Because I think that's very confusing. With a mentor and a coach, same thing, different? Paid mentor, paid coach? Because I think some people think like a mentor, some people will say to me even, oh, you're my mentor, but what does that mean? I mean, I'm not being paid to give my advice.
Well, there's lots of mentors or coaches that you wind up having that you don't pay, and some that you do.
Okay.
I think what needs to happen is we need to reframe our concept of what is a coach.
Right. Okay, so what is a coach?
Well, okay, if you have a legal problem, you go to an attorney, right?
Right.
It's a coach. If you want to learn something, you go to school, you have a teacher. That's a coach.
Okay.
Okay.
Interesting.
So, but if we in America have this thing that we know how to take care of ourselves by ourselves. And it's difficult oftentimes even to go to a doctor who is another form of a coach.
But some people would say, you know what, my coach is my therapist. I don't agree with that because I think that's different. If you're going to go, career coach, life coach is different because I think your expertise falls into a different category.
Yes, when you go to a therapist, they're going to take you through a long process of letting you talk about who you are and kind of diving in it and decipher it. What a coach does is help you understand and become aware of your options.
Okay.
I don't tell you what to do. I don't prescribe medication to get you out of being depressed or wherever you happen to be. We talk about what is it you want and how are you going to get it. And stuck means you can't see the next step. That's what a coach helps you with.
So you may sit down with someone and say, okay, so it sounds to me like that, maybe you should look at this, this, and this. And you would help advise them on how to get to that next step, maybe?
It's not really advice. It's opening your mind up to the possibilities because you have everything in you. You know exactly what it is. You may, number one, not be aware. number two, which is really the problem probably, you have a fear.
Yeah, okay, so let's talk about that because I kind of touched on that with your newsletter. I can't believe you had so many different articles about fear, and it's a big deal.
Yes.
So what's the deal with fear? Why? And we all have it, but you can't, as my mom would say, you can't let fear control your life. I get it, but I'm scared to death, you know.
Okay. First, we have to realize that some fear is okay. It's good. It is a response to something that is threatening you. And regular fear, like you drive up to a stop sign and this guy is coming and he's coming fast, and even if it's your right of way, you're going to stop. That's good protective fear. But when it prevents you from moving forward and doing the things that you want to do, that you're born to do, giving you that zest for life, that's where it's a problem. Most fears, or a lot of fears, are because of learned things in the past. These are your strategies and your limiting beliefs that are holding you back.
Right. No, you're right. It's like this learned behavior. And I think for people kind of in my generation, it's important to be able to have someone like you because you want to be able to train the next generation, our children, because like you're saying, you're a coach, you're a teacher, whatever, you're getting information and you want to be able to teach the next group how to be. And if you only know one way, you're not making it any different.
No, you're not. And the whole key to success is change. It's being in that uncomfortable situation and moving forward. And most of us don't like doing that. Our comfort zone is so nice. We're really happy there. And if we don't have to move at it, then why? You know, we don't want to do that.
But you're a perfect example. Oh my gosh, 68 years old. You didn't have to do it. But you said, no, here's the deal. I'm doing it. I'm getting out of my comfort zone. I'm taking the leap. I'm going to do it. And who would have thought a year ago that you would have been speaking in front of 2,500 people interviewing Charlie Sheen?
Yes.
Would you? I mean, if you think back to sitting there miserable, you know, having that fear and thinking, what are they all going to think of me? Fast forward, would you have ever imagined that?
No. I could never even imagine I was going to write a book. That has been a dream of mine since I was about 16. And I have written spurts about a book or in a book, and it's never come, it's never happened, it's not been brought to fruition. But it was time, and I wrote it. And now this, as you develop a business, and you will tell me this also, you get to a certain point, and then you've got to up your level.
Right.
And that is getting out of your comfort zone and moving up and saying, no, I don't have any fear. This is what I want to do. I'm going forward. Well, that's what this was, this convention that I went to in L.A. It was saying, okay, I've written my book. I have a business. I want to up it a level. I want to be, because what I really want to do is international speaking. And if I'm going to do that, that means putting myself on the stage and moving in that crowd. Okay, I don't know what that crowd is. I have no idea how to get there, and I've been scratching my head, beating myself up, like, where do I go? When you put the energy out, and this is a whole different subject, when you put that positive energy out to the universe and you say, this is where I want to go, it shows up. I wound up.
I believe that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it
Absolutely.
sounds a little hokey, but I believe it, so you're good. But no, but that's
so what happened for me was a coach showed up. J.T. Fox showed up and said, if you want to do this, this is how we're going to do it. And the next thing I knew, I had canceled Thanksgiving plans and other plans, and I was on an airplane along with my husband to L.A.
Which is funny enough, right? Yes. The husband who was going, how are we going to do that? Next husband's, he's going to meet Charlie Sheen too.
Yeah,
right.
He wants to meet all of them.
Right.
Yeah, you know. So I was on the plane, and we did this convention, which was totally exhausting, but the most powerful thing that I think I've been to yet. And I look forward to more because there is lots more to come, and I see it down the road. Every time I up myself and say, I have no fear, I am walking this walk, and I'm going to do it, then the next thing shows up.
Absolutely.
One of the most amazing books that I would recommend, besides mine, of course.
Of course.
Of course. And I do go into detail of what I did to get to my first level. So, and there's examples and assignments in the book that will show you how to go this. But one of the best books, and you have to be at the right time to be able to read it, is Nathan Hill's Think and Grow Rich. And it is an old book. It was written in the 30s. And he was invited by Carnegie to write this book. And he interviewed thousands of millionaires and billionaires. So this book contains so much meat if you're willing to read it.
Right, you have to be open to it.
You have to be open to it. And if you start following some of those processes, you'll be surprised where it takes you. It's amazing. Of course, this will too, but...
Okay, so I want to ask you about your experience in LA.
Okay.
So, right, fear, I'm sure somewhere inside you, you're about to go on stage, you interviewed Bethany Frankel and Charlie Sheen. Did you interview John Travolta?
No, but I met him afterwards.
Okay, so inside you, was the fear different? Was it adrenaline? What was going on?
It was really interesting because I had another coach that helped me frame the interview and everything, so a lot of it was supposed to be memorized, and I kept thinking, I'm going to get in front of this stage and I'm going to completely forget everything.
Right.
And at the last minute, I was sitting, waiting to go on stage. They already had Charlie Sheen on there, and they had been talking with him and everything, and it was my turn to go up. And all of a sudden it clicked. Why should I be afraid? He's just a normal person that has a different job.
It's true.
And he was funny. He was absolutely charming. He had everybody in stitches. I asked him about his book. He has written a book on poetry.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yes, it's called A Piece of My Mind. He wrote it in '99. So we talked a little bit about his book, and he was just so open and excited to do that. So it was a lot of fun.
I think for you too. I mean, again, I think looking back, you were open to the idea, and next thing you know, you will be doing this internationally, won't you?
I am.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you have one-on-one coaching.
Yes.
Right? And workshops? Is there a workshop coming up?
I don't have the workshop yet. I am getting ready to do it two ways. One, I'm going to put it online, and the other is I do in person. And if you stick with my website or go on my website, I'll have notifications of that. But one of the things that I want to do is test the workshop before I actually put it out.
Well, you're smart. That's what you should do.
So I'm looking for like 30 people who will buy it at a very discounted rate, where I'm going to do it one-on-one so I can get your feedback.
That's great. Okay, so you need 30 people, and it doesn't matter. How old?
No.
Do you care?
No, I don't care. Men, women, whatever.
Okay, that's good to know. 30 people, and do you have the rate? Do we know what the rate is, or not yet?
The in-person test is going to be in March.
Okay.
And it will be a full day. And when I get ready to put it out at full cost, it will be $1,500. If you do the test version, $300.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's an incredible value.
Yes.
And, I mean...
And you get a day of really understanding where you want to go. Now, it's not just me talking. I use that NLP, neurolinguistic programming. So I have some processes that help you get rid of your limiting beliefs. We reframe your strategies so you can do that, and you get a complete outlook of where you are now and where you want to go. So you will actually be set up.
Wow. For the whole journey.
For most of the journey.
Most of the journey. A big chunk of it.
A big chunk of it, yes. Because the thing of it is, a journey is exactly that. It is getting to someplace. When you finally wind up at the end of your journey, I'm sorry to say, you're dead.
Yeah.
Life is a journey, and that is absolutely, totally, 100% correct. And what makes it so much fun is when you up it every step of the way.
You've got to challenge yourself, and you've got to get out of your comfort zone. And I think, going back to what we said at the beginning, give yourself this gift of reinvention, or just something for you. I mean, we're all about everyone else, but if we don't take time, it's like on the airplane. You've got to put the mask on yourself first.
Yes.
And then you can kind of take care of everyone else.
That's right.
Right? And then you can be your best you.
That's right.
Well, I'm excited for you.
Thank you.
Hopefully, I mean, my gosh, 30 people. I hope I can be one of the 30.
I would love to
It would
have
be
that.
fabulous.
That would be great.
I would love it. Well, okay. BreakthroughYourWay.com
Correct.
has everything. LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You've got
Yes.
social media everywhere. And books on Amazon.
Yes, the
Okay.
book is on Amazon. You look under my name, Elizabeth Rentz, and it'll come right up.
Okay.
And it's on sale on Amazon for $2.99 right now.
No brainer.
For a limited time,
Right.
so that's good. And if people want to email me, it's Elizabeth@breakthroughyourway.com.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth.
Thank you.
Okay,
That's exciting.
it was great. I am your host, Melissa Plaskoff, and we hope you will give yourself the gift of something for you this holiday season. Thanks so much. Thank you.